All right, so welcome back. We're continuing on with this sale forecast pivot table summary. What I want to do now is kind of look at a different layout. Pretty much wanting to keep, the formatting that I have and so forth, but just kind of swap out some fields to come up with a completely different summarization of my data. And that's really the whole idea of this program, is to be able to do this kind of thing. Now, I'm going to tell you, this is an art, or better yet, this is an art form. The biggest question that's posed to me by my students over the many years is, Chip, how do I know which fields I need to bring in order to make that perfect pivot table summary? Well, number one, there might be many perfect pivot table summaries that you're gonna enjoy, working with and designing and so forth. I would tell them that the best thing to do is you just have to tell whoever the person is that gets your data, whether you're the one that's bringing in the data that you see, this stuff here, whether you're having to type that in or you're having to procure it from somebody, order from somebody. The goal is to try to get as many fields as you can, okay? That way you've got a lot to pick from and play around with. So if you drag in the wrong field and you're like, oh, I really messed that up, okay, then get rid of it and put another field in there, all right? Or rearrange them. So it's just a matter of just playing around with it, and eventually you'll learn what each of the fields are and which ones are going to pair up nicely into a good, pivot summary. One of the companies that I work with, or I've worked with for many years, they actually had somebody in their database department, believe it or not, come up with, groups of fields that would be most likely used for various types of reports that people would like to put together. So if you've got access to somebody like that, find out what fields are good and what the fields are, and then next time when you're ordering your data, you can make sure that you get those fields into the spreadsheet so that you can then make your pivot from it. So I want to make a minor change on this. I'd like to be able to see a breakdown by company like I have there, but instead of it being based on the rep, I want it based on my zone, the territory. So what we're going to do is we're going to swap out, basically, we're going to take this, I should say region, okay? The region here, we're going to swap that out with the sales rep, all right? Now, how do we do that? What's the easiest way to do this? I think the easiest way would be to point to a sales rep down here. You'll get that little crosshair. Hold down your mouse button, drag it out into here. You'll see like a little black X appear there. You let go, adios. All right, now it's gone. You could have also de-checked it here and it would have done the same exact thing, okay? So now what we want to do is we want to bring in the region. Now, note that the region is in our filters right now, okay? And I explained before that you can't have, when you're working with the filters here, you can't have the field here and in here, okay? So watch what happens when I drag the region, okay, underneath customer. So I drag it over like this. Now watch. Boom. So it puts it there, but it took region out of here, all right? Now, the other mistake I made, or the mistake I made when I did that, though, is that I put the region underneath customer. So it was like taking the customer and breaking it down by region. Well, understand this. Each customer is only in one region, all right? So this is not a summary at all right? And you might say, oh my God, I really messed this up. I guess those aren't a really good pair to use. It's like, no. What you do is, the first thing you want to do is, before you say, I'm going to get rid of the field, how about if we rearrange it? Maybe we can make some more sense out of it. Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to drag this border up a little bit like this. Gives me a little bit more room, visual room down here. These are virtually unlimited as far as how much you can put in there, but the visual, it gets a little bit I guess a little bit challenging, I guess would be the word for it. Anyway, we're going to take customer here and drag it underneath region, just like that. Let go, and it makes all the difference in the world. Perfect, all right? Then what we'll do is we'll take maybe the sales rep field here, this one right here, and put that underneath the category for the filters, and now I've got that showing up, see? So now, again, as far as the filtering goes, I can go to my category and say, okay, I want to just see, I don't know, consulting. Hit OK on that. There's my consulting. Or I'll go back there and get rid of consulting. I'll just hit all again here, and that'll bring it back. Go to my sales rep and say, I just want to see Seguzi. So I click on Seguzi, hit OK. There's Seguzi's. So it really is kind of an interesting thing here, where you're not only kind of designing the pivot table in general, but you're also altering the design by using the filters that we've got here. Now, if I clear out the sales rep filter, just click up there and hit all, right? And now I decide that I want to see only 3 of my territories, all right? Or regions, whatever, right? So we're going to click on to any one of them, right? And we're going to go to the filter for the rows, right? And since we're on that field, we can then click onto here and now focus on that. I'm going to go and hit the select all. I'm going to choose Africa. We're going to choose the Nordic and Asia. All right, so we'll have those 3. Hit OK. There we go. Great stuff there. So it just goes all the way out there. So again, what we did was we kind of reused our initial pivot table by just swapping out fields and filters and the like there. So that's pretty good stuff. Now another design that we can do is we can actually take the region out. So we can take that field, drag, oh, missed it there. Take that field and drag it out like that, all right? And this time we'll put in the category. Now we'll take the category, even though it's in the filters here, we can either take it from here or from here. I'll just do it from here so I show you that. And I can drag that, and I'll bring that underneath the, or above, actually above the customer. I'll just put, oh, I actually have the wrong one there. Yeah, there it is. Okay, so I'll put it right there. And there we go. So now we got a nice little layout there. And then as far as the filters go, what we can do is we can maybe add the region in here. So we can take the region, drag it down to here, let go, and there we go. And it looks like the region, it says multiple items on it. Now what happened there is that earlier we had set certain items within a region that we wanted to see, okay, which in the territory. So what we're going to do is we're just going to click onto that little button there. We're going to hit all and do that. And we'll take care of that one. Let me just show you something a little bit about what you just saw here. If I go and I click on to, let's say, one of these here, okay, so one of the categories, right? And I go up to, well, actually, I don't even do that. Let's just say I go up into the region here, okay? And I say, okay, I'm going to click out of that. And normally, let me just turn this off here. Okay. So normally when you go in here, you can only choose one item, okay, and that's fine. So if I choose American, hit OK, then it just shows me the American. Now, so you might think, well, what if I want to see more than one, all right? Well, you can come back into here, turn on the select multiple items. That puts check marks on these, so I can say, well, I want to do the American and the African. So I do those 2, hit OK, and you get this multiple items, and it's like, okay, you and I know, because we're watching this right now, that the filters on those 2 zones, those 2 territories, but at the same time, anybody that's looking at this is not going to know what multiple items is, all right? So that's kind of like the downside, when it comes to filtering, using these kind of filters here, is that you can only, to make it visual, you can only pick one. Otherwise, you're going to get this. The alternative is the filtering that we did here, and that's very obvious because you're seeing the actual item, being displayed there. So that's not a problem there. But this here is a problem, working with those, if you're going to be doing more than one. In our case, the reason why we have them up there is that we only care about the fact that we just want to see one territory, or in this case, one region. So we hit OK on that, and it works perfect for that. Now we do have an alternative to the two that you'll see later on. It's something called slicers. We'll be talking about those, and that is kind of like the ultimate in filtering. That gives us everything we want. So I'm going to go back and just turn that back off. Hit all. Hit OK. Now we're back to seeing everything. I have one more design to show you here, and then we're done with this. So I want to show you another set of fields that we can use to come up with another way of looking at our information here. So, all right, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to pull off the category field. Just drag that out. I've got that there. And then I'm also going to change up or add to a little bit with the fields for my filtering. I'm going to take the when field here from the columns and just kind of put that into the sales rep area here. And then let's see what else we got here. And then category. All right, so we'll take category and put that underneath the when. All right, so now we've got 4 different filters up at the top here. And then over here, what we're going to do is we're going to put alongside the forecast, we're also going to put the weighted forecast numbers, right? So over here in our list of fields, we're going to find our weighted forecast, which will be this one here. We're going to drag that underneath the sum of forecast, the other one there, right? And now we've got the 2 side by side, all right? Now another way of formatting these numbers, or to get to that area that I showed you before to format, we could also just kind of double click onto the heading right here, which is the same as the field. Double click that, go to number format, go to our number, no decimal places, comma separator, hit OK a few times, and there we go. So now we've got the 2 in there. The other little thing as well is that you don't have to put up with these stupid names. Sum of forecast, sum of weighted forecast. We don't need that. So what we're going to do is we're just going to call this one forecasts with a plural. And so we'll do that one first. Now, keep in mind when you put a new name to a field, even though in your mind this might be just like a label, the program for some reason does not like you to use the same name as you're typing in here as what the field name is, all right? So I just made a plural of it and it works fine, all right? So just keep that in mind. You just can't use exactly the same name, all right? Now for the weighted forecast, on that one we can just call that one, I just think weighted would be fine, all right? And there we go on that, all right? That looks pretty good. And then again, very quickly, we can actually go over to our Analyze tab, right? We can click onto the pivot table, go to Options, or however you access it on your version, click onto that, and now it's set for, it's already merged, but I'm going to go ahead and click onto that and turn it off, and then go back in there and turn it back on again. And what we'll do, in essence, is kind of refresh that whole situation. So now it's the way it should be. All right, so you might have to do that a couple times. Now I've got one little minor one I want to show you, just a little modification of this. What you're looking at here is for the entire year, okay? So Alfred's Futurkisk, 144,000 in projected, sales hopefully, and then our weighted number, right? I would like to see these numbers broken down by quarter, okay? So broken down by quarter, all right? Now, to do that, we're going to take the when field. Now, we already have the when field. It's in our filter. That's okay. We're going to get rid of it. We're going to pull it out of there, I should say. And we're going to take that when field, and we're going to drag it over into the columns area. Now when I let go here, I just drag it over into there, I get this. And what it ends up doing is it ends up giving me my forecast, all the months, weighted all the months, and then you got, you know, the grand totals at the end there. I want to flip this around. So if I just take the two of them, I take this, see this thing right here is actually representing the fact that we've got multiple summaries going on. And we have those two columns. If you were to go and pull this values out, you would lose those. I mean, they'd be pulled out and you'd have to put them back in again. But here's the thing. I don't want it to be laid out like this. I need the reverse of this. So all I have to do is just take this guy here and drag it underneath the when, and it flips it all the way around. Much better. But I want to go a little bit further with this. I don't want months. I don't need it to be January and February and March and all that. So if I click on to one of the months, okay, go back up into Analyze, go back here to Group Field, all right, and tell it that I want to see quarters and not months, just quarters, right? Hit OK, then it does that for me, see? So now what happens is I end up getting, in this case, and this might be a little bit too much for you, and I'm just kind of pushing it here a little bit as far as this goes, but nonetheless, what I have now is I can see the quarter one weighted or forecast and weighted, then quarter two forecasted and weighted, quarter three and quarter four. Now, the other downside of this too is that there's not a whole heck of a lot of data. And because of it being so sparse in these different areas, that might be a little distracting for whoever you're giving this to, and they might, you know, get a little, like I said, get a little distracted and start losing track of what they're really looking at. So that might be an option. You might say, this might not be the best thing. So maybe what I'll do is I'll just put that when back into my filter area here and be done with it and just go back to this. And then what I can do if you want is go back into the when, hit the drop down, and I can pick the quarter. I can say, I want quarter three. All right, I just want to see quarter three. And there's quarter three, see? So pretty cool stuff. All right, so hopefully this all can help you in your ventures with the pivot. We've got a lot more videos coming up, but this is just, I want to do this first one just to kind of give you a feel for how this works. And now we're going to get a lot deeper as we go along here, okay? But we haven't even done the tip of the iceberg so far. So take care, and we'll talk to you in the upcoming videos. Thank you.